Colin Farr sharing that front row in car number 9, Gary Rush. In position 3, Phil Johnson on the outside from Warrnambool in car number 99. 12 laps is the journey. Racing now as the green comes out as they head up through turns 1 and 2. First 12-lap journey for the sprint cars down the back section they run. As expected, Danny Smith. Lights up and lights out. And the number 1 car heads on. Smith leading over young Colin Farr and Gary Rush in the third running. Further back, Phil Johnson tails back to position 4, Bob Tunks. Hauling freight further back to the number 54 car. Drops down low as he heads onto the main straightaway. Bob Tunks back in position 5, throwing out the challenge now to Phil Johnson. And Bruce Hill in car number 88, one of the PCR Brad Packer's second generation racer. Midfield at the moment. Meanwhile, Danny Smith continues to reel off the lap turn for the opening sprint car heat and heads up now to about 1/4 of the lap advantage over Colin Farr, who sets up on the cushion, races onto the main straightaway, just ahead now of Gary Rush in car number 8. Rush back in third running and beginning to really apply the pressure now to young second generation Brad Packer. Colin Farr in car number 9 as they head onto the main straightaway. Johnson still abreast of Bob Tunks at the moment. No change further back. Yes, there is, as Bob Tunks gets on the wrong side of the cushion, re-enters ahead of Peter Kraft, but Bob Tunks loses 3 places in that little manoeuvre over on turn 4. With Bruce Hill picking up a place now in the 88 car they all moved through. Johnson and Skip Jackson further back. And again, Gary Rush tightens up that inside pass now on Colin Farr, who hasn't covered. Meanwhile, going ahead to a third plus lap lead to Danny Smith, the flying outlaw in the USA number 1 car from Danville in Indiana. Head to the main straightaway. Only laps away for Danny Smith. All you need to do now is hold down all the way to the black and white. Gary Rush now applies the pressure. Deep and meaningful attempt on the inside on turn 4 of Colin Farr. And again, Colin Farr has that line covered. Kevin Worthington as Alton has returned the 49 Jack Ridgefield wedge to the pit enclosure. As Gary Rush still seeks a way around or under Colin Farr. As Danny Smith finds his way through the tail enders, looks for a safe passage on the inside of Peter Kraft. And Danny Smith, having taken the white flag, is on his last lap of the circuit as the race leader, heads down and looks to put a lap on Peter Kraft onto the main straightaway, and will do so as the black and white comes out. To Danny Smith, taking the win in the USA number 1 car. Back then to Colin Farr in car number 9 and Gary Rush in car number 1. (1988) Australian Sprint Car Champion and defending ASC Sprint Car Champion, car number 5. Heading onto the main straightaway. And Jamie Moyle, the young South Australian, off position 2, takes the jump and takes the field. A merry chase down the back section for the first occasion, the young South Australian. On his first ever competitive appearance on the highway, leads from position 2. And setting up a good lead from Stephen Gall. Down the back section they run, back then to Brooke Tadnell. Around goes Bob Stock to the infield. It's the number 70 car, but manages to complete the donut, the 360, and continue on. Dunstone, Motherless Laughs, as Jamie Moyle comes through as race leader. This is Heat 2. Bob Stock gets the keep down low flag to allow the race leaders to come through, and that's Jamie Moyle. Car number 69 out of Adelaide in South Australia. Onto the back section and still leading by a comfortable margin, and in fact increasing that lead over Stephen Gore and Brooke Tatnall as they head to the main straightaway, this time up into the top section of the circuit. Ian Bradford still middle mark at the moment. Wayne Skipper there also. Some blue smoke now from Jamie Moyle's number 69 car as he slants through on the inside of Grant Tunks and car number 55. So Grant Tunks now one lap down as Jamie Moyle comes through, causing some problems there. And young Grant Tunks has been shown the keep low flag, so he'll need to keep out of harm's way. Jamie Moyle from South Australia, first time appearance and heading towards first up win, car number 69. Over Stephen Gore and young Brooke Tatnall. No change further back as we pick up Wayne Skipper leading now from Ian Bradford, Bob Rutley and Sid Moore. Good drive so far from Jamie Moyle, albeit from a front row starting berth now as he runs into trouble with a couple of down cars now as Stephen Gore gets the opportunity to close the gap and take the challenge up to young Jamie Moore with only a handful of laps remaining as Brooke Tatnall also closes the gap. Arthur Cowan has the black and white tiger flag, that's the protest flag, and that's going out to both Madsen Jr. and Stock in the number 70 car. Meanwhile, Dutchie has the white flag out for Jamie Moyle with 11 Sutton's Motors laps completed and less than one remaining. Half chance for Stephen Gore and Brooke Tatnall as they attempt to close up on the final run down into turns 3 and 4, but they won't do it. Jamie Moyle for the South Australian number 69 car goes for the win over Stephen Gore in car number 26 and the number 8 car of Brooke Tatnall. At third row from the outside, position 6, David Anderson from Albury in car number 37. One of our very favourite Mexicans here on the Clayway. A good peddler too, and running the Sutton's Motors entry, his second string number 47 car. Brad Hayward in car number 47. And also co-sponsored by Brush Design and Hayward. Okay, look at the action unfolding further back in the pack, the 21 car. Oh, huge problems there for Nipper Lacey. It was Nipper Lacey skipping and jumping all 4 wheels off the deck at one point there, and also a big ride to the outfield further back in the pack to the 76 car of Rod Bowen. And Jack Hewitt from the United States in car number 21 after a controversial race meeting up at Newcastle last weekend, last Saturday night. The American Jack Hewitt back to renew track acquaintance with the Aussies here on the Clayway. Okay, up front, however, it's the jump jet. Brett Lozeman in car number 83, leading away now from Brian Linnigan and Gary Russ Jr. Back then to Anderson in the 37 car, David Anderson. Trouble for Jack Hewitt. Jack Hewitt in car number 21, dribbles to a halt as gain. Rod Bowen finds the outfield in the 76 car and re-enters ahead of Max Dumsley in the 20 car, but the amber caution lights on display now. And Jack Hewitt in car number 21. comes to a halt over on the back section of the circuit. Nine laps remaining in Heat 3, green flag flies, sprint car action unfold. Rod Bowen trying to pick up the jump jet tag in car number 76. Third excursion off the circuit, but Rod Bowen hopping, skipping and bumping his way. Down to turn 2 and the black and gold racer switches to the outside and turns the tap full on. As he heads onto the main straightaway, good pass on both Trevor Shields and Keith Stewart. Now further back, it is dropping rapidly backwards through the pack. The 98 car and up on the last end of the freight train at the moment, hauling that freight. There's still Brett Losman in car number 83 with both Brian Linigan and Gary Rush Jr. Rush Jr. with that front inside wheel high in the air. Looks for the run on the inside of the 25 car, David Anderson, with a big line up and thunders through. Anderson back in fourth running as they all bunch up through turns 1 and 2. Bowen gets by on the inside of Brad Hayward. Hayward fighting back and looking to regain that lost position, but up the front end now. It is still jump jet. Brett Losman, Gary Rush Jr. switches to the inside of Brian Linigan. Whoa! And Linigan comes back down track and renews the attack in the 25 car, but around goes the jump jet, and going up and over was Brian Linigan. Rush Jr. managed to continue on in the 51 car after crunching into the outer shape Brett Losman, but the unlucky man out on that occasion was Brian Linigan in car number 25. Linigan had just lost third place to Rush Jr. and Jr. with a nose-to-nose confrontation with a reverse-facing 83 car of Brett Losman. And Stuart Telfer, who was down there on the scene, reports at this stage that Brian Linigan appears to be a little shaken, but as one would expect, it appears to be okay. So Brian Linigan in the number 25 car. Okay, 5 remaining from Lightning. Lance Wilson as we switch to green. Racing once again, and Rush Jr. takes the field. Up to turns 1 and 2, Anderson in second place, working hard at the wheel as they head down the back section, and the freight train action unfolds again now. Anderson up on the high line, lifts the wheel high in the air as Rod Bowen comes into the play. A very aggressive drive from Rod Bowen once again, but on the outside, Brad Hayward also elbows flashing. The Parramatta Nightline sits in position 4. Time out now on young Gary Russ Jr. looking for the average lap times, 15.49, good time, 15.49, Russ Jr. leading now for sprint car action on the clayway. This is Heat 3. Down the back section they run, no change. Next up here again with that wheel high in the air as they sweep onto the back section, but already the race leader Russ Jr. sees the white flag coming out. Anderson in second and Rod Bowen looking to change that around. Bowen in third. Brad Hayward there also. And looking for a late charge. And Max Dunphy who comes in hard, but the black and white comes out for Gary Russ Jr. Car number 51, and that's the way they'll finish. Anderson in second. Rod Bowen in the 76 car taking third. Back then to Brad Hayward into the pack from the rear of the lineup. Third row, Bob Tunks on the outside from position 6. Kev Worthington looking for a change of luck in the 49 car. Aussie champ Gary Rush in car number 1. Bill Johnson from Warrnambool from position 7. CR&D Victoria number 99 car. Colin Farr in car number 9 on the inside of Danny Smith. And Greg Nolan at the extreme rear in car number 10. 12 laps of the journey. Skip Jackson to take them up to the green, but having the jump on the outside was Peter Craft as the lights go green, and we're racing Heat 4, race number 8 on the card. Sutton's Motors continuing the action. Gary Rush in all sorts of problems in Australia. One car drops out to turn motherless last on the run down the back section. Onto the main straightaway now, and Peter Craft is one down and 11 remaining. Is the race leader over Jackson. Skip Jackson in second. Further back now, Bruce Hill hops up in third, running, gets onto the high line and unleashes the Chevy horsepower onto the main straightaway. Kicks it over the cushion, and Ron Cricky from West Australia slams through to claim third. Down the back they run now with charges coming through also from Bob Dunn and Danny Smith. Unleashing the number 1 car from the back of the pack. In close company further back are Colin Farr in car number 9, Kev Worthington, and Johnson in the 99 car, Gary Rush, second but last at the moment. Onto the main straightaway, and Peter Craft continues on his winning way over Skip Jackson. And Ron Cricky head down, tail up, the young West Australian and former national champion, sits in third slot and looks to close the gap on the race leaders. Bob Tunks in the 54 car, Parramatta track champ, looking for more horsepower as he chases now Bruce Hill in car number 88. The puff of blue smoke from the 88 car. Could it be a sign of problems as Bruce Hill motors on? Big long run around the outside for Colin Farr in car number 9 as Phil Johnson gathers up on the inside and moves through. Gary Rush still slamming into this field now in the number 1 car, has got a long chase ahead of him, as has Danny Smith. 1 car ahead of Rush. Smith in the USA number 1 car. Rush driving Australia number 1 further back in the pack. Over the halfway mark they travel now. And still calling all the shots up front is Peter Craft. Skip Jackson driving a world time race in second at the moment, having some trouble with one of the down cars. That's Kev Worthington, as a matter of fact, in car number 49. As Ron Cricky powers through also on the inside of Worthington. This is Heat 4, brought to you by Sutton's Motors. On the run down to the first leg of the Sutton's Motors Homebrew Sprintcar Gold Cup. Full moon horizon over midway between turns 3 and 4 as the moon takes in the action over there. Parramatta Nightline unwinding off the circuit is Kev Worthington in the 49 car, but regained well down on the leaders now as Johnson selects the long way around the outside. Colin Farr there also, but the black and white out to Peter Craft in car number 86. Jackson running second to the wire, and the West Australia 99 car and Ron Cricky in for third money over Bruce Hill in 88, followed in that by Bob Tunks, Danny Smith in car number 1 from the United States, Gary Rush in the Australia 1 car next to the black and white fraternity down around Adelaide Way in the sprint car division. The Bob Jane Team Art 69 car. I think that's his birthday, 1969. It's a good year. Further back in the pack, young Jamie Moore, and brings in the psych there and just gives Brooke Tatnell a tap on the lineup down there. So we should see a bit of fireworks here from perhaps from young Jamie Moore from South Australia, and Brooke Tatnell in his own backpack leader in car number 8, and Ian Bonza Bradford, also a second generation from West Australia in car number 77. Green flag flies, but the veteran George Tatnell takes the field, honking through turns 1 and 2. Ian Bradford gets round the outside of the young Brooke Tatnell and sets sail after Bob Rutley down through turns 3 and 4 as Tatnell takes the field onto the main straightaway to end lap 1. Further back, John Walsh in the 75 car just lifts a whirl in the air as he sweeps over onto the back section of the circuit, and Sid Moore clears the pack. Car number 95 ahead of Kerry Madsen and turning hard right down on turn 4 was Bob Rutley in car number 40, but makes a good, if not fast, save back into the pit enclosure in car number 40. Meanwhile, Kerry Madsen holds down third place at the moment, and Bob Stock in all sorts of problems over there in the number 70 car, all by himself, and also withdraws from competition. Meanwhile, George Tatnell about to be set on now by young Johnny Walsh, car number 75, as the leading duo head onto the main straightaway. Further back, Kerry Madsen in full charge, and also singing a fast song at the moment is Sid Moore in the 95 car. Moore back in position 4, comes Ian Box of Bradford, young Brooke Tatnell and Jamie Moyle. Grant Tux is last of all in the 55 car at the moment, and about to be gathered up on the inside by George Tatnell, who takes no prisoners and goes by in the number 5 car. Tatnell goes through, followed up by young Walsh, and back then to Kerry Madsen, settling down nicely. Madsen in third placing now as Sid Moore takes over fourth running. Ian Bradford back in 5 now, and Brooke Tatnell and Jamie Moyle. Here on the straightaway, Jamie Moyle lines up for an inside pass on Brooke Tatnell. So this pair out at it at the moment, and both living up to that Bradford tag. Down the back section they run, and you can bet young Jamie Moyle is out to sit on the mark of his Sydney rival here on his home track. That's dwindling away. Lead 5, Sprintcar action, brought to you by Sutton Motors. Meanwhile, up the front end, George Tatnell still continues to lead. George Tatnell, car number 5. Onto the main straightaway, Tatnell and Walsh, and the gap over Kerry Madsen in the 29 car. The long gap back now to Sid Moore in fourth running, as Ian Bradford now gets around the outside of Jamie Moyle and sets sail after Brooke Tatnell. The white flag having gone out to George Tatnell. John Walsh and Kerry Madsen, the black and white now, and Tatnell takes the win. Madsen third in car number 29, and right on the wire there, Sid Moore, I think, getting up to displace, I think, Brooke Tatnell, but we'll check that one out. Sid Moore in the 95 car, Brooke Tatnell going off the circuit, right on the wire. Second place was John Walsh in car number 75. The win, of course, going out to GT up on the front row. Nipper Lacey in car number 16. Max Dumsney on the outside. The current Victorian and the former Victorian. Dumsney, now a Sydney-sider, heads down the back section as the race leader. Oh, and Nipper Lacey causes all sorts of havoc further back with a half-turn on turn 2. Rod Bowen was looking for the run-through on the inside. That's being taken over now by Brad Hayward, who, wow, gives Nipper Lacey the short back and sides as Lacey fights back down the back section. Lacey turns left and looks onto the tail now of the number 47 car, and also getting hooked up then was the young wild child. That's how he got the name. Young 16-year-old Robbie Farr in car number 3. Drops right back in the track now. Max Dumsney, and the Valvoline entry goes away from Brad Hayward in the 47 car, but for Hayward, running the Sutton Motors entry, as a matter of fact, head down and tail off the front end over 2-3 times. And David Anderson it is. David Anderson in the Victoria number 37 car. Okay, a reminder at the completion of tonight's Speedway program that the pit enclosure will be open to the public, so if you'd like to go down and check out the cars and meet your favourite driver, you can do so at the completion of tonight's meeting in the pit enclosure. 9 laps remaining as the green flag fires, and Max Dumsney takes the field under the green and up through turns 1 and 2 as Brad Hayward puts in a determined bid on the run down the back section. Rod Bowen there also on the black and gold race that gathers them up as they hit across turn 4 onto the main straightaway. 8 to go now as Fowler drops the 22 car, and this will bring on the amber caution lights once again. Your way as our summer of speed unfolds. Green flag unfolds now and racing. And again, as they head up under the green to the back section of the circuit, Max Dunley leads the field down into turns 3 and 4. No change further back to the track. Brad Hayward locked outside, heading across turn 4. And time now on the race leader, Max Dunley. We'll check Dunley's lap time as he comes onto the main straightaway. Heading up from Brad Hayward and Rod Bowen. Good time, 14.79, 14.79 for Max Dunley further back in the pack. At the moment, looks like could be suspension problems for Keith Stewart as he seeks the safety of the high line, and looks like he may return to the pit enclosure if that's the case. Meanwhile, Max Dunley goes on and heading towards a win here at the Clayway as the laps move into the closing stages. Rod Bowen back in third running, but unable to make any further impression on Brad Hayward, who's holding down second, and further back in fourth is Gary Russ Jr. The number 51 car on the Wild Child, Robbie Farr, and car number 3. Max Dunley about a lap and a half away from victory at this stage as Dutchie picked up the white flag. White flag coming out now to Max Dunley in car number 20 and heading to the win in the final qualifying round, heat 6. Brought to you by Sutton Motors over Brad Hayward. Rod Bowen back in third as they race onto the main straightaway, black and white's out. And Max Dunley tucks it away in car number 20. Brad Hayward in the 47 car, and third to the wire. Rod Bowen in car number 76, followed in by Gary Russ Jr. in the 51 car.
Everybody had the equal chance, and I must admit it's a surprise to see the Auto Village Holden car of Bob Tunks on the front row. Tremendous driver, very consistent, out-track champion, and a bit of a disappointment to see in the B main. On the inside, the car that Wayne Gardner drove here tremendously well last week. Car number 26, that's the Carrera Sports Eyewear car of Stephen Gall, the former 3-time Mr. Motocross champion. They're on the front row of the B main. Ooh, look at Kerry Madsen in 29, ready to go. And the Chief Steward says go. Well, Bob Tunks not impressed with the start in that 54 car unless he's got problems with the green lights on. In car number 26. In second place, it's young Kerry Madsen, car number 29. And in third, Bob Rutley in the 40 car. Nipper Lacey from Victoria runs next. Then comes Sam Burnham in car number 77. So Stephen Gall, the race leader. Bob Tunks not too happy about the situation. Now on the throttle in car 54. Oh, and trouble down here for Ken Fowler in the 22 car. Car number 22 coming to a halt down here in turn number 1. Here they go, set to run in the B main tonight. Oh, look at Bradford trying to get an inside run. Stephen Gall it is, the race leader in car number 26. 15 laps the race distance, and Manson right on his hammer now. Car number 29 starting to put some pressure out. Lacey up on 3 wheels, still can't get the grips on the tacky top tonight. Bob Tunks now making the move forward in the 54 car as Bradford slams past on the inside of Nipper Lacey, and Lacey with the front end bouncing around, lost a shock absorber by the looks of things, half the front end just about falling off the number 16 car. A big drive by Stephen Gall in the 26 Carrera car. Car B main. Non-qualifiers race. Rantuck's in trouble down the back straight now, over the edge in 55. Madsen dropping off now. As Stephen Gould goes around Darren Fowler. And Bradford starting to pull in Kerry Madsen. He gets a little bit out of shape. Turn number 2. The sprint cars coming alive here at PCR. Night 1 of the Suttons Motors International Sprintcar Gold Cup. $30,000 of prize money, and whoa, there goes Bobby Tunks. A very unhappy race for Bobby Tunks as he shut it off the track by Brian Reading. Very noisy Stephen Gall as we see Greg Nolan getting out of shape in car number 10. Stephen Gall's wing. Stephen Gall's wing starting to collapse as Darren Fowler's gone around again. If you have a close look at Stephen Gall's wing, the top inside panel starting to come adrift a little bit. Okay, looks like we're set to go. 5 cars remaining. The engines rev up and here they come. Stephen Gall, Kerry Madsen, Ian Bradford. Oh, Madsen's over the edge of the track. Oh, on he comes. Paul Stock gets past and Madsen, who was running in second place, has dropped back to 5th last. No change in the order. Down the back straight, he's got past Greg Nolan. For Stephen Gall as he comes off turn number 4, 2 remaining now. Bradford, good drive by Bradford in the second place. And Madsen worked his way up to the third. Nice drive by the driver. Here comes the white flag. Last lap action now for Stephen Gall in the Carrera Sports Eyewear car. Ian Bradford in the Winfield Racing car number 77. And the Out West Auto Ring basically running in third, gets back on the track in front of Stock. So there's the checkered flag, and what a great drive by Stephen Gall, who really gets it out of shape to finish the race off. Nice drive by Stephen Gall. Madsen fails to finish in the 29 car, so third place will go to Paul Stock, I believe. So race fans, would you put your hands together for the former Mr. Motocross and Australian Speed Car champion? As he comes past on the slowdown lap. It was a great drive. Stephen Gall, the race winner. Well,
as they form up now, the sprint cars will be forming up into 3 abreast, and as they come your way onto the main straightaway, we're going to ask you to put your hands together, show your appreciation as they get set to do battle in the war of wings and wheels for round 1 of the Suttons Motors Sprintcar Gold Cup. Race fans, as they come onto the main straightaway, will you put your hands together for the Sprintcar Gladiators running for PCR, the action track, and Suttons Motors Homebush. Okay, getting set to travel now. 25 laps of action with drivers from Western Australia, South Australia, the United States as they sweep out of turn 4. Get set for 25 laps of racing onto the main straightaway now as they already run up through turn 1 and 2. And Danny Smith, the American Danny Smith of the USA number 1 car, executes an end for end off turn 2. Danny Smith ricochets out of the pack in the USA number 1 car. And red lights coming on, so the cars come to a halt over on the area near the pit enclosure, but it's Danny Smith who's quickly out of the number 1 car to check the damage. It was a clean but a slow roll for Danny Smith in car number 1, and the American is not enjoying any luck tonight on the clayway. Danny Smith on his 8th Australian tour sheds a rear crash bar from the number 1 car, the USA number 1 car. As we say, Smith on his...
Oh, we're with Danny. He's ripped off the back push bar. He hasn't got time to talk. He's going to the pits trying to get a new push bar on the back, and so he can start in the main event. He's got to get a new wing. He's after a new wing. There, boys, through tight. Don't try to stop turning to the pace running. I got busted this way. Jack it up, message down.
Head there, buddy, boys. Get a bit more. How much more do you want, Dad?
The Super Bowl of Australian sprint car racing. Brad Hayward up on pole position in the 47 car. They do it all over again. And car number 86, Peter Kraft, they get the run up across turns 3 and 4. We go green and it's on again. Jack Hewitt coming through from the back along with Danny Smith in the USA number 1 car. Over onto the back section, they run right up on 2 wheels with Bruce Hill and also Johnson from Victoria slamming into the car as they head across turns 3 and 4. 1 down, 24 Sutton Motors laps remaining on the highway. To the back section they run. And Brad Hayward lights out as the race leader. Onto the main straightaway after 2 laps of racing. Peter Kraft drops back to 3rd. Max Dumsney comes through to take over 2nd. Kraft's gone off the circuit, allowing Ron Bowen through into 3rd. And Kraft also allows 2 others to slip by. One of them being Jamie Moyle. The young South Australian is Gary Rush. And the number 51 car, Rush Jr., moves up through the length. Further back in the pack, Gary Rush Sr., the American Danny Smith, and Jack Hewitt trying to cut loose from the tail of the field. Jack Hewitt Hewitt doing the best of that trio at the moment, and Jack Hewitt comes up now onto the tail of the number 8 car of Brooke Tatnall. These two drivers clashed at the Newcastle Motordrome last weekend, but Hewitt goes cleanly through on the outside of the 18-year-old Australian Brooke Tatnall. Meanwhile, Brad Hayward has set up a buffer of some 15, maybe 20 lengths over Rod Bowen, who's in third place at the moment, but already the race leader, the new race leader, Max Dumpney, in car number 20, is making his way through the tail enders. Max Dumpney has in fact put a lap on Gary Rush, but now more dramas for American Jack Hewitt in car number 21 down on turn 4. Jack Hewitt in the number 21 car down on turn 4 brings on the amber caution light, so the PCR timer is zeroed out. There'll be no race time on leg 1 of the Sutton's Motors Sprintcar Gold Cup at the Clayway. Get the points on the board tonight in that Australia 1 car. However, we've still got something like 23 laps or so to travel from my estimations, as Brad Hayward gives Dumsney the message over on turn 4. We're back in green light, green flag, racing conditions, right up on 2 wheels, front wheels off the deck. Also was Brooke Tatnall, who kisses goodbye to about 4 or 5 places with that excursion off the circuit to be run wheel to wheel with the tail enders. Meanwhile, Max Dumpney looks to open the gap with the number 20 car and running away at the moment. Dumpney, the race leader, over Brad Hayward, back then to Rod Bowen, followed through by Jamie Moyle. Then comes Sid Moore, Gary Rush Jr., followed up by John Wallace, Peter Farr. The next one through, Colin Farr, and getting the run through on the inside was Skip Jackson in the double 1 car. Then comes Danny Smith, Bill Johnson, followed up then by Brooke Tatnall, Gary Rush Sr., getting a run around the outside of young Robbie Farr, followed up then by Wayne Skipper in the 24 car, and at the back of the pack at the moment is Ron Criggy from Western Australia, who can't get his act together in the 99 car. It looks like problems for Criggy, who undoubtedly will soon lead the races. Race leader thunders through on the outside, and that's Max Dumpney in car number 20. Further back in the pack, Brad Hayward attempting to haul in the long-gone Dumpney in the 20 car. Rod Bowen still holding down third in advance of the young South Australian Jamie Moore in the 99 car. Running strongly in 95, Sid Moore, the next one through. Off the circuit is John Walsh in car number 95. Tonight, Sutton Motors Homewood, first of the Sprintcar Gold Cup. Racing continuing under green light conditions. Action all the way around the circuit at the moment. Sprintcars thunder on the Clayway. Gary Rush slowly coming up to the pack now, but right behind Gary Rush in car number 20 is the race leader, Max Dumpney. But troubles down on turn 4. It's Colin Farr in car number 3, unable to make his way safely back to the pit enclosure after departing the event. Robbie Farr brings on the second yellow caution light. Okay, let's pick them up now as we head to the green with 12 remaining. Just over the halfway mark for tonight's second leg. First leg, opening leg of the Sutton Motors Gold Cup. And again, they travel on. Look at that. Max Dumpney breezes away to the lead once again. Setting up that pattern now, and Gary Rush is on the inside of young Colin Farr, and Gary Rush is up to position 6 from the rear of the field. Gary Rush up to position 6 and puts 2 cars between himself and the American Danny Smith. Jack Hewitt, of course, out of the event at 14.27. Max Dumpney's lap time at the moment, and through goes Gary Rush now on Sid Moore. sail after fourth man in the pack. Young South Australia as Max Dumpney continues to lap the circuit in the more than competitive times at the moment as the race leader. Sweeps off the turn four and still has a comfortable buffer over Brad Hayward. Playing in second place, Hayward fighting his way through now as Danny Smith goes out. The American Danny Smith retires the USA #1 car, and John Walsh out of the event also. Walsh out of the event. So the readout is now Max Dumpney cutting through the traffic ahead of Brad Hayward. Back then to Rod Bowen, followed up now by Jamie Moyle and Gary Rush. Rush Senior in position 5. Leader Max Dumpney heads up again under the Parramatta scoreboard. Tremendous drive so far for Max Dumpney. Max Dumpney, head down, tail up, elbows flashing in the Parramatta nightlight as he continues on what appears to be his winning way in this first league of the Sutton Motors Sprintcar Gold Cup. Sprint car racing, as you can only see it at the hub of Australian sprint car racing, the Parramatta Super Track, the Super Bowl, the PCR action track. White flag out now for Max Dumpney. Less than a lap away from victory as Rod Bowen gets the hurry up from young Jamie Moyle. But as Max Dumpney heads down through turns 3 and 4, the black and white comes out and Max Dumpney takes the win. Max Dumpney takes the win now. Over Brad Hayward second. Hayward second in the number 47 car. Rod Bowen in fourth, third in the 76 entry. Jamie Moyle fourth, Gary Rush fifth, back then to Sid Moore. Followed in further back by Colin Farr, Gary Rush Jr. and Brooke Tatnell in car number 8. Well, more action coming your way tomorrow night for round 2 for the Sutton's Motors Gold Cup. Please join us down trackside now for presentation time.
What a tremendous drive into third place. Would you put your hands together for Rod Bowen? Congratulations, Rod, from Sutton's Motors. Lovely bottle of cold bubbly there. Rod, a big race out there tonight. 2,000 to win, and everybody wanted to win that one, but you picked up some money in third.
Yeah, I didn't know it was 2,000 to win. I probably would have tried a little bit harder, I guess, but I was happy to come home third. The motor was a little bit sad, but we had a few problems in the pits, but I'm just happy to finish a race. It's been that long, I tell you, and I'd just like to thank, I think it was Sutton's who put on the race. It was a good track. Everything was great tonight. Thanks very much for coming, and I guess I better thank my crew. Thanks a lot, boys. Thank you.
Right, Rod, well, if they didn't tell you it's 2,000 to win tonight, it's 5,000 from Sutton's Motors. 5,000. You can put it on a deposit on a new Commodore as well if you want.
Well, maybe we can go another 5 laps or something. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Rod Bowen in third place, everyone. In second place, and what a drive, picking up some of the boss's money tonight. Would you put your hands together for Brad Hayward, who drives the Sutton's Motors car? Brad, congratulations. Lovely trophy from Tracy. A beaut bottle of bubbly to help celebrate tonight's happenings. Congratulations, it was a great drive out there.
Yeah, terrific. The track came in well. We had the car set up right for the feature, and I'd like to thank Paul Knott, who's put this new engine together. It goes to show when you've got a bit of horsepower you can run with the front runners. We were lucky that we qualified as well as we did. I'd also like to thank Jeffrey Leeds from Sutton's Motors for putting on a venue like this. It's quite a big thing to undertake. Excellent prize money, and as you can see, it attracted a lot of people from interstate, and I think tomorrow night will be a bigger night.
It certainly will. Now, we saw Paul Knott yesterday, who was telling us about the engine. He was excited. I'm sure he's thrilled to pieces now with the effort.
Yes, it's certainly a nice way to start out with a new engine, but I think there's bigger and better things to come. Let's see if we can clean it up tomorrow night.
Okay, great effort. Race fans, Brad Hayward in the Sutton's Motors car number 47. And in first place, the man who won here last time out. Would you put your hands together for the driver of the Valvoline car number 20, Max Dumpney. Congratulations, Max. Lovely trophy from Sutton's Motors there. Tried to get the stereo kiss there. and from Sutton's Motors, the Butte bottle of bubbly. And Max, great drive out there on the tacky top. Congratulations.
Thanks, Stuart. It was great fun being out there, and thanks a lot for Sutton's for sponsoring this event tonight. It was great. And what can I say? I'm with a great team, Valvoline. I got a great car from CR&D, and the guys do a great job. So what else can I say? Things have really come together good for us.
Okay, well, you've picked up $2,000 from Sutton's Motors tonight. Jeffrey Leeds over here, he's got bulging pockets from the cash that's going to go out tomorrow night. $5,000 to win. Jeffrey, come over. Would you put your hands together for the sponsor, the general manager of Sutton's Motors, Jeff Leeds. Jeff, welcome to Parramatta. We've got Max here. He's a fine contender for the $5,000 tomorrow night.
But there's probably only one person I'd like to see win it more, and that's Brad Hayward. But all respects to you, Max. But congratulations, a fantastic drive. And if tonight's any indication of what tomorrow night's going to be like, well, we should be here bright and early.
Okay, well, the $2,000 he's won tonight, get a deposit on one of the Sutton's Motors cars over the back here?
For sure, yeah.
It's a walk-away deal, Max. Congratulations again.
Thanks a lot.
And obviously we'll see you back tomorrow night going hell for leather for the big prize.
Yeah, we'll give it another shot. We can't guarantee we'll finish in the same place as again tomorrow night, but it sure would be nice.
Okay, well done. Max Dumsney, everybody, in first place.